that these modern conveniences were going to create problems in the health of our body because we would stop doing the things that made us healthy, which was taking walks and spending time outdoors and touching the leaves of trees and appreciating beautiful flowers, and that we would get so distracted. Now, this was in the 1800s. He was worried that we would get so distracted with man-made technology that we would start to get sick and that it would separate us from our true nature. Can you imagine what's happening now? Now we're in the year 2021. Based on the last couple hundred years, even more so have we advanced in technology and this modern age of electronics and all of these things around us that distract us and take us away from our true nature. So today, hello, this is Dr. CJ Benkert with Puta Vida Wellness. I'm just wondering, do you know what your vitamin D levels are? Do you know that research shows us that if our vitamin D levels are at least 80 and above, it's almost impossible for a virus to come in and take hold? So I'm talking about vitamin D today around the subject of the 7th core concept, which is grounding and earthing. So this week we're talking about reconnecting with our nature, with our ancestors, with who we are, walking barefooted on the planet. Yesterday I introduced the concept of grounding or earthing, same thing, and I asked you to watch a documentary, the science, what's it called? Earthing, the Earthing movie, The Science of Grounding. It's on YouTube for free. I watched it again last night. It's just so powerful. We're living in this modern day of age with all of these conveniences and electronics and EMFs, and we have lights, so that even though the sun is setting right now as I speak, I have lights in my house, so that I can continue to work even though the sun's gone down. But pure life living, like living a natural, healthy life, experiencing joy, not having to worry about disease, has to do with just kind of getting back to the simple pleasures of life. So I introduced grounding yesterday. What is earthing? I want you to watch the documentary. I'll post it again. I posted it in Facebook. If you're listening to this on my YouTube channel or in my podcast, just look up the Earthing movie. Clint Ober is the founder of the earthing principle, even though earthing and grounding has been around for millions of years. So basically, the sun shines down and puts energy into the atmosphere of the earth. And then that energy in the atmosphere of the earth is brought down into the earth's surface via lightning. So the energy comes from the sun into the atmosphere, and then all that energy in the atmosphere is brought down into the earth, which is just a big, huge battery, via lightning. So all those lightning storms that you see brings the energy into the earth. So now the earth is just surrounded and just filled with all of these amazing negative ions. And when we're not walking barefooted on the earth, when we're indoors all the time, when we are living outside of what's natural and normal for this human being, our DNA, for millions of years, we lived outside, we slept outside, we had natural animal furs for blankets and bedding, and any coverings on our feet were made out of materials that were conductive, that allowed you to still connect to the energy of the earth. The energy of the earth energizes you, and it actually gives you electrons. And if you watch the documentary that I asked you to watch yesterday, electrons are crucial. Do you remember that high school chemistry or biology, the electron transport system? That's how our body makes ATP. That's how our body makes energy. ATP is the currency system that gives us energy, and energy comes from electrons, electrons from the earth. Electrons from the earth that we can gather up into our body so that we can have extra electrons to make energy, to be healthy. And when we don't have those electrons and we're not spending time outside and we don't walk barefooted on the earth or ground ourselves inside, which I'll cover 2 lessons from today. So today is all about, just talking about our natural state of being, and our ancestors spent time outdoors. It's only been, the last few hundred years where we're spending all of this time indoors. So when we ground to the earth, because we're spending so much time indoors and we're not walking barefoot on the ground, our body accumulates free radicals, unstable molecules from stress, from being inside of our homes and not going outside. The air pollution, believe it or not, in your home is 10 times worse than the air pollution outside. So we talk about the air pollution outside. There's way more pollution in a home that doesn't have good ventilation. So you have formaldehydes coming out from new furniture. You have chemicals outgassing from electronics. Like when you bring a TV home, you're not supposed to put it in your house right away. You're supposed to like take it out of the package, maybe let it sit in your garage for a week and outgas. So there's way more pollutants and things that you breathe in to your body when you're spending time in the house. So today is just reminding you to go outside, spend time outdoors. So one of my favorite philosophers of all time is Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was around in the 1800s. Henry David Thoreau was actually a student of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson is the most prolific writer of the 19th century. He wrote all kinds of poems and essays on nature and self-reliance, and he's one of my favorite writers. So in his writings, he talks a lot about, because in the 1800s we started having industrialization, modern age started occurring, manufacturing plants, and he realized that these modern conveniences were going to create problems in the health of our body because we would stop doing the things that made us healthy, which was taking walks and spending time outdoors and touching the leaves of trees and appreciating beautiful flowers, and that we would get so distracted. Now, this was in the 1800s. He was worried that we would get so distracted with man-made technology that we would start to get sick and that it would separate us from our true nature. Can you imagine what's happening now? Now we're in the year 2021. Based on the last couple hundred years, even more so have we advanced in technology and this modern age of electronics and all of these things around us that distract us and take us away from our true nature. So today is all about encouraging you to, yes, I know we have to spend time indoors to a certain degree, but I encourage you and challenge you every single day to make sure that you're going outside, that you're just spending time being. We're human beings, not human doings. And this day and age especially, it's all about doing, doing, doing. What can we accumulate? How much money can we make? How productive were you today? We feel like our worth is based on our how productive we were. Our worth is based on how we treat other human beings. Our worth is based on the legacy that we leave to our children and our grandchildren. And our worth is based on who we already are inside. We're already parts of God. Whatever your religious beliefs are or spiritual beliefs are, there's a connection between human beings, and there's a very strong connection between human beings and nature. So today I want to encourage you to go outside, spend time touching, feeling, tasting nature. Touch a flower, smell a flower. Every day, try to involve all of your senses about being outside. Have you ever just gone out into your yard and just, look up at a tree and study the leaf? Look at a rose, getting ready to bloom in your yard, and like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. That same power, that made trees and flowers and plants and animals, made us. So Ralph Waldo Emerson, I just want to quote a few of his quotes, which kind of summarizes, my theme for tonight about getting outside and connecting with our true nature. So here's a few quotes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. In the presence of nature, a wild delight runs through the man in spite of real sorrows. So how many times have you been going through like really hard times, and everything in you just says, get in your car and, drive to the beach and just sit on the sand and look at the water and, just think about life. That allows us to connect with who we really are, being outside. Here's another one. Nature is too thin a screen. The glory of the omnipresent God bursts through everywhere. How can you go outside and look at all the amazing natural parts of animals and plants and trees and everything that is just Mother Earth? How can you look at those things and not realize how small we are and how loved we are, that something created that also created us? And then here's another one by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Nature always wears the colors of the spirit. I'm enthralled with colors. I'm enthralled with the rainbow, the colors of your chakras. You have your root chakra, which is red. You're being grounded and supported and safe with your tribe. The orange is your sacral chakra, which is like your expression and being creative and spontaneous, childlike. And then you have yellow, which is your solar plexus chakra, which is like your self-empowerment and how you lead, and that's where your light comes from. And then you have green, which is your heart chakra, and that's how you connect with other people, is through the heart, and you open yourself up and you love yourself and others unconditionally. And then we have blue, which is the throat chakra, which is your ability to express yourself and speak your truth. And then you have purple, which is the third eye, your inner wisdom, the intuitive chakra, which allows you to see where you want to go, what you want to create in your life. And then crown chakra, which connects you with God, with divinity, with the heavens. So colors are amazing. Being outside reminds you how small we are and how wondrous our bodies are. And there's another thing that Ralph Waldo Emerson talks about is, looking at nature for patience. Look at nature, like how long does it take, for a tiny little seedling to come up from the soil, and you see a few little sprouts and then a few little leaves, and then 100 years later you have this huge strong oak tree. Things are always growing and moving, but slowly. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't be impatient with yourself. Give yourself that opportunity. It takes time for us to grow and to expand and for things to happen in our life. Be patient with yourself. Be loving to yourself. Spend time outdoors every day. Connect with who we really are and get sunshine on your skin to make vitamin D. So that's today's lesson, part of our 7th core concept, grounding and earthing. Tomorrow I'm going to go into the science of what happens in the body when you're grounding outside, and then we'll talk about how to ground in the house, the following lesson, and a couple other lessons after that. So peace to you. This is Dr. C.J. Benkert, just reminding you who you really are. Amazing, beautiful, healing beings. Dr. C.J. Benkert with Puda Vida Wellness, loving you, encouraging you, and empowering you to live your purest life in body, mind, heart, and spirit.